Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into a really fascinating and frankly kind of alarming set of sources about the regulatory state in Georgia.
And the core argument, the hypothesis in all this material is that regulation has basically been inverted.
Inverted how?
Well, it was supposed to protect people, the public, from big corporate power. But the claim here is that it's now used to protect corporations from the public.
Specifically from independent citizens, what the sources call the human economy.
Exactly. So our mission today is to just unpack the evidence, to see how the right to earn a living, as they put it, is being criminalized.
Okay, so where do we start? What's the most aggressive example they give?
It's the assault on the independent tradesman, the handyman.
Right.
There's a specific Georgia statute, OCGA, section 434117, and it basically says any unlicensed contract work over $2,500 is illegal.
Wait, just $2,500?
That's it.
That feels incredibly low. I mean, we're not talking about building a skyscraper here.
No. A simple deck repair, maybe putting in some new flooring, that could easily go over the limit. And suddenly, that handyman is committing a felony.
So it creates this general contractor mode. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
You need all this capital for licensing and insurance that a solo operator just can't get.
Precisely. But get this. The state doesn't just wait for complaints. The sources detail these police stings. They call it Operation Handyman.
A sting operation.
Yeah?
For handyman.
Yes. Law enforcement will lure them in to give an estimate, and if that quote is over the $2,500 limit, they arrest them for contracting without a license.
The usual justification for that law is safety, right? To stop shoddy work.
And the sources don't deny safety is important, but they question the targeting. They argue it's really about protecting the market for the big, connected construction firms.
So this strategy, this low-dollar barrier to entry, is it just for construction?
Oh, not at all. You see the same exact playbook in other home-based sectors, especially childcare.
Okay. The corporate daycare centers versus the in-home providers?
Right. A big center has the money to handle all the fire codes, the ADA compliance, but those same rules are almost impossible for a family childcare learning home to meet.
And zoning is the weapon they use.
It often is. We see it in cases like Few v. Clayton County. The local government will use something called a conditional use permit.
So they don't ban home daycares outright?
No, they just deny the permits. They use these vague reasons, like protecting neighborhood character, to basically grant a local monopoly to the big commercial centers.
And I imagine we see the same thing with lodging. Hotels versus Airbnbs?
It's the textbook definition of regulatory capture. The hotel lobbyists push hard to get short-term rentals reclassified as a commercial use.
And once it's commercial, you can just bury it in taxes and regulations that no homeowner could ever comply with.
It kills the competition.
Yeah.
And if you want the most absurd and symbolic example of this whole mindset.
You have to be the lemonade stand.
Lemonade stand. The fact that in 2023, the state had to pass the Georgia Lemonade Stand Act.
Just to make it legal for a kid to sell lemonade.
Because before that, local code enforcement could legally shut them down for operating without a license. It tells you everything. The default setting for any economic activity is illegal until permitted.
Which forces you into a choice. Be a compliant employee for a corporation, or you're a criminal.
That's the core takeaway from these sources. When you're arresting a man for fixing a porch or threatening a grandmother for watching a few kids, the system isn't protecting the public anymore. It's preying on it.
So here's the thought we want to leave you with. If these regulations make independent work illegal, what's the real cost of safety and compliance? How much more are we all paying as consumers and as workers to maintain that system? Something to think about until our next deep dive.